Angela Muendarani is a seasoned human resources professional, a career mentor, a certified trainer, and an inspirational speaker. She is a Rising Star finalist in 2015 in the hospitality sector, a member of the Institute of Human Resources Kenya since 2010. She is the chair and founder of the Human Resources Forum in the hospitality sector and is also a career mentor with Simama Outreach Programme. So who is Angela Muendarani?
Angela Muendarani is a daughter, a mother, a sister. I'm a mother to 3 wonderful boys. And I'm also a student of life, a human resources by profession. I am a certified trainer. I'm also a mentor in a group called Simama Outreach Programme, but I'm called once in a while to do that. So that is who I am.
Okay, beautiful. Nice to know you, and thank you so much for coming onto the show. So what is human resource management, and what is the role of a HR in any organization?
Human resources management is one of the management functions that manages people, basically everything about people. We are talking about recruitment and selection, compensation and benefits, employee welfare, and employee safety. You're talking about payroll. So anything, any aspect, any function that affects the employee in an organization, that is human resources. So also performance management and training.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
And what would you say you do exactly from morning to evening as a HR in any organization like yourself?
When I reach the office at 8 o'clock, I will go through my mails first thing. I'll get to pick up any HR related issues and then see if they need action point immediately or later, but at least I have exactly what is happening. In my sector, we normally have a briefing, morning brief at 9 o'clock with the general manager. So when I'm with the general manager and we have a briefing, I'll also pick any other issues that will be brought up during that meeting. It's a morning brief. And then from there, my day will be made according to what we'll have brought on the table. Apart from that, of course, there are now the other days, the payroll days that are there, the normal days that you'll know today I'm going to do payroll, today I'm going to do something like maybe a training that is happening today. But basically, that's how the day starts.
All right. And as a HR, what would you say? How would you view yourself as your role and how you impact your employees? And which sector are you in particularly in terms of HR?
I am in hospitality sector. I am head of human resources manager at Doubletree by Hilton. As a HR person, you are in employees' life all the time. For me, I am there all the time. Like I have issues, employee coming to me with issues. So I have to now put on the counseling part of it to understand and to make them, when they're leaving that office, they are feeling better. They know they can do it. It's when you say motivational speaker, you actually speak to the person and make the person see, oh my God, this is something I could easily just do it. Okay. So that is my role most of the part. So I've realized that I impact a lot. I talk to them. I let them see the problem from another side, and they're able to increase on their performance, their self-esteem is built up, and they're able now to do well as an employee.
How many employees do you manage? Like, for example, how many employees are there in Doubletree, Hilton?
I have 87. What my previous places I've had 150, 152. And I also worked in an organization where we had over 2,000 employees. So where I am, I really I have a small team that I can manage, that I know them by names. I know where each and everyone works, so that it's easier for me.
And there's a lot of misconception about HR managers, and they are seen as those people who sit in that office where they can see everybody passing by, and there's always this idea that they're always looking for some flaws in employees. What is your views about that?
So what people really don't know is, first of all, HR is a balancing act job. You have to balance between the employee and the employer, and you have to hold that balance, because if you break it down, or you on one side and bias the other, the whole thing it won't work out so well. So that bit employees don't want to know. Them, they want a HR person to always be a yes to employees' issues. Yet at the same time, the HR is there to really be also on the side of the employer, to advise the employer on the compliance, and also to advise the employee. So most of the time employees don't understand that. That is number one. Number two, you see, HR is we work with documentation. So sometimes an employee will come to you and tell you maybe a grievance. They are launching a grievance, they have this issue happening, but you can't carry a grievance that is just verbal. You need it written down. The moment you tell that employee, okay, this is happening now, put it in writing, and then now I'll pick it up. They go away and say, oh, HR did not listen to me. HR does not want to help me. And you see, we work with facts. The other reason you'll find some line managers, the HODs, might promise an employee something like a promotion if you do this, or maybe some without looping in the HR, or without maybe getting clearance from HR or management. So the employee will be saying, oh, I was promoted, by the HR is holding on to my letter. She's not releasing my letter. Yet she has no idea you had a conversation on the side somewhere, because HR is in charge of the policies and ensuring that there is order, there is disciplinary cases are being followed rightly. So they'll also assume that, oh, I'm being, someone is witch hunting me to take me to HR, so that HR issues me the warning letter. So some of those issues are just mostly employees themselves being to themselves, but they make it look like it's a HR issue that HR is not attending to. Yes.
Okay. So it's very interesting that the HR is in a very difficult situation, because they have, first of all, to take in the interest of the employer, who's looking out to them to inform them, to keep them in tabs about the employees. At the same time, the employees are also expecting you to be on their side in terms of issues. And sometimes those two may clash and provide a situation where you're caught in the middle. And you're wondering, what's happening? Why did you make a promise to this person? And this is what is happening.
Yes.
What motivated you to become a HR manager out of all the possible careers that are out there?
At first, I didn't know, but I knew it was about people. And I'm good with people. Right from church, I serve in church. So I'm really good there. So for me, I realized if it's about people, that I can manage.
Who is this who was advising you for which career to go for?
In high school, basically, you are told by the teacher to take education. Everybody was told, apart from the A students, theirs was a little bit given. We were divided. We are given. There was the top, and then there was the middle people, and then of course now there's. So as in the middle, all of us, the B material, we are told take education. Become education. So most of that, our teacher told us that, and it's because I think we didn't have that opening to know that there are other positions out there. Yes, we didn't know. So for that was it. But at the college, it's for college it was after they were gauging our subjects and seeing how we are doing, and they're like, oh, you can do well here, you can do well here. So for college there was a career person who would sit at the desk and just really advise you what they think you're good at.
Okay. It's very interesting, and that's why we have this particular show, because a lot of students do not have information about what careers they're getting into and the possible situations that are there, and they can be able to click and get to see what that career entails and be able to pick it or not pick it. So what training do you need as a HR manager? And after training, how do you eventually enter the job market? And how long does it take?
Okay, for training, you need to have an undergraduate degree. It's very, very important. Though you can start on the diploma level, you don't have to hold yourself and say, oh my God, I didn't get, to go to the public uni, now I'm past the cutoff. You can always start somewhere. Yeah. So for example, for me, I started from Kenya Institute of Management. you can start from there, or any other management school, and move your way up. And then of course, immediately you've done your undergraduate. Now you also need to have majored into HR. About 3 years ago, the HR Act came out, the HRP Act, and it required for all the human resources to be certified. So there's this training called CHRP, the Certified Human Resource Profession. It's only taken at the Kenya Institute of Management and also at the College of Human Resources. So I would advise the new people, the ones who are still in school, or those in colleges, or those who are in between there, to get the certification, because it's now an act, it's a law. And also being a member of the IHRM Kenya. Yeah, so it's something that a student can really take advantage and be part of it. You see, it's all about now being there, knowing these knowledges. I didn't know about it until someone else told me, and I when I see someone has an interest, I always tell them as it is. Knowledge is out there. This is what you're supposed to do for you to reach here. So that is what I would say for those who would want to really be part of or learn human resources.
All right, that is really helpful for people to be able to know that there are certifications required beyond just going to study for this particular career, and there are parameters that have been put into place to make sure that we have genuine HRMs in the market. And apart from being a human resource manager, are there other roles that a person can pick up or become beyond just a HRM? Where else do people with a human resource degree get into? Which other careers?
Some will go into training and development. It's training and development is coming up very, very fast, and it's one aspect that you're just into training. That is your job, into just training. Of course, now because HR management, it's a management role. So you can develop it and even you move into operations. Depending on which industry you are, you now be part of the operation team because you have the management knowledge in it. Apart from that, when you can also just start having a consultancy. You can offer the HR services like payroll, because payroll normally falls in between finance and HR. So as a HR manager, you can also pick it up and payroll, and just be a specialist, payroll specialist. That is your duty, and you know every law on taxation, everything that is needed to know over time. Yes, so that is other branches that someone can really look into, and also be a teacher, probably a teacher of human resources in a campus. Yes,
you have some. I have to talk about this. You are one of the 2015 CFC Stanbic Bank Rising Star Award finalists, and which was established, by the way, to recognize and celebrate and connect young talented people like you. Tell me more about that.
First of all, actually, when I was approached first to apply for this program, I kind of like doubted myself, because I was still, I can't say really young, but I wasn't also I didn't have that confidence in my career, but I picked it up. I was like, I will run with this. I had to submit essays, and it was being made, the shortlist was being made in South Africa. So there are people you don't know. I had to do it, and it was an exciting part that showed me I can actually conquer the world. So it is something that I can tell any young person: when you get such an opportunity, don't waste it, don't question it, because people are questioning, how sure are you this is real? I would just go with it. And I remember when you're having our final panel interview, one person who was a part of the panel interview, the panelist came and told me, you have done great, and don't feel bad, because we were all like feeling really bad, all of us, because the questions they told us, the question you're asking, they ask CEOs and directors, and these are consultancy firms, so they were expecting our knowledge to be on that level, which was very good. It opened a way for me to just broaden my knowledge, broaden my understanding, and also to believe in myself as a person. Yeah.
All right, that's beautiful to hear, and really you went on to be very good. It's actually out there, and you're recognized for the work that you've done. You're also a founder of some human resources organization. Tell us more about that.
Before I joined the hotel industry, I was in Java House, Africa. So when I moved to the hotel industry, it is the same hospitality, but it's different from restaurants. So at that time, I really needed people to hold me, to tell me, how do we do this? So in that time, I realized when I was calling, I would call the HR for Crown Plaza and ask, how do you handle this? I would call a HR from another hotel. Just like that, I started now having this number of people to call these people. And sometimes someone would call me and say, I am experiencing this problem. And I would say, do you know, the HR for this other hotel has the same problem. Please have her number so that you can share. And then they all told me, why don't you just, you are the one who is putting us together. We don't even know each other. And just from there, I started by first having a WhatsApp group, and we would add all of us. And then later we would meet and have a serious training, a serious, discussion, and it was also, we would have those emerging issues discussed on the table with all these HR knowledge people around, which was very good, because now you can have a one-on-one, we would discuss, we would have it out there, and it was very good. So it was just, at the beginning, it was me trying to find knowledge, but then I realized there are people outside there who also need the same knowledge, and they could centralize the knowledge somewhere. And right now the group is still on. It's very big. We have over 180 HR people in the hospitality sector. Yes, and we are actually targeting now Uganda and Tanzania, because we'll find the hotels, it's spreading, and you would want to know the laws. You would want to compare your laws from Uganda and Kenya and synchronize them and see how to really apply.
So you brought all these HR people together, and you're able to have conversations, get to know what works for some, what doesn't work. It's really a good way to be able to get together with your colleagues. Now, getting back to your career, from your experience and background, what influenced you the most to take up this career? Who are people you admire in the industry, and who make you feel like you want to so high and get better in this particular career?
First of all, I'll say Christine Wanjiru. She's the Human Resources Manager, Java Africa. It is called Java House. She really believed in me. She really saw me, and she knew. And she told me, you're going to be great. She would put so much words in me, and I would be like, how will I manage? And she held my hand. So even when I transition now to hotels, I had now to meet other people. And one of the people that has stand with me so much is Charity. Charity Gashao is a HR manager for Radisson Blue at Upper Hill. She is so, like those motherly, those who will talk to you and you realize, okay, yes, she told me, and she say she would see herself in me a lot of time. And I would think, if she can see this, also me, I can, be like her, be at her level. And they're just people around. Like I have Susan Kariuki. She is one person who brings out the concept outside the box. When all of you are thinking this way, she will make you think and think of another solution. So those three women have stood by me.
Okay, very good. That's good to hear, because I think we all need each other to mentor each other and help each other to get where we are now. I'm interested from a HR, now that I'm seated with a HR manager. I want to know who's a good employee and who's not a good employee. And what mistakes do employees make that make HRs sort of, wow, this one maybe needs to leave this organization or something?
Employee are people. I think we all are people. So sometimes you realize it is a phase of life when someone has issues and their performance is impacted by issues. When you start following up with those performance, with those issues, we'll find I don't want to say a bad employee. I will say an employee having a rough season in their life. So you'll find that such an employee, probably they are always late all the time, and all the time you see them being brought to your office by their HOD and you're thinking, really, and then why did you leave your home to come to work? Don't calm. You feel like saying that, but you can't say that because you have to maintain the decorum. Yeah. So you just listen. So those who come late and they are drunk, then maybe they're smelling of alcohol, or they're just they haven't even tidied up. They're not ready for work. Such small issues. They're not even big. They're small, but they really affect this performance of this person. So it's all stuck with all those other issues. And also, when you find an employee, the integrity issues have question marks all the time, but I've never been caught red-handed, but they have integrity issues. So those are the employees that really make the HR work really difficult, and you just feel like you can fire them immediately, but you can't. You have to pass through a process. And sometimes such an employee, when you start the first process, maybe you put them on a performance improvement plan based on what the incident that have happened, you realize they change. Okay, say a good employee is the one who follows rules, rules and regulations. Yes, and they are always on time, always serving, doing the what they're supposed to do as per their job description. They are not involved in politics. Politics is good at workplace, but sometimes it can really go overboard.
All right. What advice would you give young people who are trying to look for jobs? And I know a lot of times the HR manager is seated there. What are some of the strengths that you see in a candidate and say, I want this one in my company, compared to I don't want that one in my company? And I would want you to talk about that from the point of view of the application process. Even before you meet the person, you have to interact with the CV, the application letter. What makes you say that application letter, no, and put it on the side and say, well, I'm going to call this person? Apart from experience, let's leave out experience. Let's say everyone has come with experience. What makes you look at that letter, that CV, and say, I think I want to try this one out?
Okay, first of all, there is no spelling mistake on the cover letter and the CV. Yes. So people don't know that. They will. There is a mistake, and you're like, this paper is defining you. You need to put 101% into reading your biodata before sending it out. So if the person did not read and go through it and give to somebody else, let's say especially new people, entry position, it just shows that you are careless. You're not interested. You're not really into that interview or into that application you're making. And sometimes you'll find also someone has written a CV they send directly from the cyber's email, and sometimes it will not have a number, but when they lack that contact number, now you wonder, now this person, even if I reply to this, it will go to the Vibex cyber cafe. And like the person did not proceed through their email address, their personal email address. So it shows maybe the person really was not keen to know to add the cyber person. Or sometimes they just told the cyber person, send for me. They're not. It shows that you are not really interested into that position. If you're interested, you'll send it yourself. Yeah. Yes. And then for this entry position, of course, that is young people, you'll find they when they write, they have sent the application. Yes, they have attached the application and attached the CV, and then they'll write. They say, "Dear Susan, kindly find attached." Then they'll go like, "Hi, please with a PLZ."
And that's happening to the young generation. They need to hear this.
Oh my God. Yes, it happens. That's what they do. And you're like, oh my God, that one you won't even touch it. Move to the next one very fast. And then there's something else that young people need to know, and they need to include in the CV. Things like leadership. Are you a prefect? Were you head of something in school? It is always good to include on the CV, because that one shows that you have leadership skills. Also volunteering, whether you volunteer in a nursery school, feeding children, write them there. People don't know that. That is what people are looking for, an extra thing apart from your degree and your A and everything. What else can you do? So that's I would advise the young people to add that extra.
All right. And what else do you do apart from being a HR?
I volunteer in going to visit children's home. Okay, apart from that, I serve in church. Okay. I love being out there. And of course, I'm in the chama, the normal chama that we have, which is something I find it easier because we get to meet and talk and just have a good time.
Okay. So, as a part in short, is HR something you'd encourage young people to get into, or do you think the market is flooded, or is there a need for more HR professionals?
HR, I would encourage people to join HR because human resources, it's a management course. It's a course that you can use. It is not limiting you to a particular industry. You see, hospital, we need a HR. Hotels, we need a HR. Schools, we need a HR. Okay. So it is a profession that it cuts all borders. You can be in any industry, in manufacturing, in retail. They all need human resources. For now, I don't think it's flooded. I mean, people will keep on saying that, but it's not. I can tell from this other side, seated on the other side, it is not. Yeah. So I would encourage them to be part of, to train and continue doing that.
Okay. All right. So any last words of advice you'd like to give to young people? And most of all, are you willing to mentor anybody who may be wanting to know more about the HR profession after this particular show?
Yes, definitely. I would like to mentor someone. I have 2 people I mentored earlier on. I took them as an intern at a different stages. I didn't know them, but when I was doing an interview for internship and they walk into my office, I knew there's something in them, and we've talked. I've seen them grow, and I'm happy. when I see them grow. I would want also to encourage the young people after they have graduated. There is this internship program. Probably they are like, we are not being given internship. We are going here. I would want first to tell them they need to be proactive. Be out there. Don't wait. I know the schools normally send us letters, but I would be really impressed if someone just walks in and they would ask the same question. I would want to do internship here. At the same time, there's this National Employment Authority, NEA. You create your profile with the National Employment Authority, and then from there the employers will check. And once they check and they need interns, they're easily picked from there. So for young people, once they join the IHRM as students, it is easier now to network with the people of the same profession, and you're able to get a placement easier. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Angela, for speaking to us today. I've learned a lot about human resource, and I love the way you talked about, even in your profile, about being calm and collected. I now realize the position of a HR is not just to look for flaws in employees, but you're there in the trying to make sure that the relationships between the employer and the employee are going on so well. And thank you so much for even telling us that you could come in as a mentor for anybody who's interested in HR. And another thing I've learned today is that young people need to be proactive, that you cannot just there, go through your training and not find out where you need to go and do some bit of internship. So thank you so much for speaking to us, and I'm sure some young people will be reaching out to you after they watch this to get to know more about being a HR. So thank you so much for coming to our show.
Thank you for having me.
So there you have it, viewers. You've just heard what it takes to be a HR manager or taking up a HR profession. So I hope that you found this particular show beneficial for you. And if you're interested in doing this more and actually getting mentored, Angela is more than willing to mentor you into this particular profession. So tune in every week to My Career Mentor with Sue for more insights about the world of work. Thank you.